Welcome, guys. This is Nerd Kingdom's Checkpoint, very first episode of Checkpoint. I'm Xavier Soller, along with my co-host.
Matthew Fresquez. You like how I
And
said that? Matthew
I really do like
Fresquez.
I love it. I love it. The Fresquez. We will give you a free item if you can guess where he's from. Anyways, uh, guys, thanks for tapping in. This was a long time coming. Very long time, huh, Matthew?
Yeah, like
Oof.
the amount of time that we've talked about this and been planning it and
Yeah.
done some pre-work and oh man, it's been a long time.
Years. I had no gray in my beard when we were talking about this. A lot of gray now, but thank you guys for joining us again. Very first episode of Checkpoint here on Nerd Kingdom. Nerd Kingdom is just a nerdy media platform where you guys can get your nerd content, your nerd news, tap in with us on what we're playing, what we're watching, what we're reading, all of those things, just to get our perspectives and opinions on things. But we also want to create that community where you guys can come in and have a safe place to just nerd out with us. So a little bit about myself. I'm a full-time freelance mic talent. I'm a PA announcer. I'm a voice actor. I'm an in-stadium, in-arena host for multiple sports teams. And so I live and die by this thing right here. So having a podcast is just fitting. And this is actually my second podcast of the week. My first one being all about WWE, big wrestling fan. So check out Mike Check Mania, selfless plug. And yes, go ahead, Matthew.
Yeah, first off, I hate that we have a podcast because everybody has a podcast. So
Yes.
instantly I hate myself.
We'll call it a show.
but
It's
we're
our
gonna
show.
it's a
our
show. There you go. There we go. That's what it is. It's a show, not a
Shout out to
podcast.
Justin
I love it.
Stuckey. He hates it when I say podcast too. He's like, I hate the word podcast. Just say it's our show.
Because everybody has a podcast. This is welcome to Matthew's podcast about socks. So yeah, I do a lot of the same thing Xavier does, broadcast journalism stuff. So any kind of on mic stuff. Right now, I'm working as the in-host arena for the Avs. I do stuff for the Colorado Avalanche. I do stuff around Denver. So yeah, it's about the same stuff. You're just a little more popular and do it for more teams. So
well, one of us has a championship and the other doesn't. So
there you go. There you go.
shout out to you. Shout out to you. So yeah, man, we're gonna dive right into it. There's so much going on. I mean, when isn't there things going on with, everything in this industry? But we just happened to start this on the week of the Thunderbolts.
The Thunderbolts.
We both saw the release yesterday. I went at 2 in the afternoon. You went, what time did you
I
go?
went 4:30, so it was the Thursday. Yeah, it was the Thursday afternoon, Thursday release. So yeah, I hit you up because I was like, okay, I'm gonna go see it. I have, for those who don't know, which is probably flipping everybody because I don't know why you know this. I have never missed a Thursday release of a Marvel movie. So I'm talking Iron Man, Iron Man 2, Avengers, Incredible Hulk, all going all the way back to all of those. So every single time, and there's even a couple times where I've been like, "Oh God, dude, I'm tired. I really do not want to go see the 18th movie in this thing or whatever." Like, not that I don't want to go see it. I just didn't want to go see it on like the Thursday night. I was like, I got to keep up the streak. So I hit you up, and that's what I was like, I'm going to see it Thursday because I got to keep it going. And you were like, okay, let's go see it then. So yeah, I saw it like 4:30 in the afternoon. I had to be able to. I saw it early enough so I could catch Nuggets and Avs game 6.
Sure. You had to.
So I went to go see it a little early, and so did you. But yeah, caught it on the Thursday night release, and everybody should be seeing it. Today's Friday. Everybody should be seeing it today, tomorrow, over the weekend because it's worth it.
Good, because we're about to spoil the shit out of this. So, but hey, guys, in the chat, this is the first in the chat moment we're having. Let us know what's more impressive: the Undertaker streak at WrestleMania or Matthew's Marvel watching release streak of his lifetime.
Yeah,
So,
well, and like when they first started to come out, they were like truly midnight showings. So you were going at like 12:01.
yeah.
It's gotten a lot easier now that they're like, oh, okay, yeah, you can go at noon on Thursday. But yeah, it used to be daunting to go to every single one. But yeah, so.
And I love it. And I love it. I love it for us. I love it. I mean, you could also speak into like video game releases. They just don't quite do them the same like they used to. Also, one of those like truly when the clock struck midnight, that's when those doors were opening at GameStop. So,
Oh
um,
man,
I,
yeah,
I
we,
will
we
always
could.
forever miss those moments for the Halo releases.
Oh, I was gonna say we could dive into those for Halo 2 and Halo 3 and ODST and Gears of War
Yeah,
and all those different games that I would be like at GameStop or
yeah,
Walmart, like feeling like I'm
yeah.
breaking in because I'm because everything is like closed down except for the electronic section. But
Right. It's like the fog light just over the electronic section.
yeah,
You're like,
yeah,
is the store really open?
yeah, for sure.
No, but Thunderbolts, man. What were your thoughts? What were your feelings when you saw that Marvel Studios? Like it's just I just feel like it's been a minute. Now again, I know we just watched uh the recent Captain America
Captain
movie.
America: Brave New World. Yep,
Yeah, Brave New
yep.
World. But what do you think about what was your first initial thought? Did you like where'd you think it was going? Like tell me.
Well, so I was interested in seeing if they were going to bring in Helmet. What is it? Helmet what I was thinking Helmet Marco, and that's a Formula One like that's a
Ah,
Formula One guy.
oh,
But
also
Helmet
guys, Matthew's
from
huge into Formula One,
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
shout out to Ben,
There
one of
you
our
go.
gurus on the board.
Helmet Zemo. Jeez, yeah, I was trying to think, but I was interested if they're going to bring him back in any way um from Captain America, Civil War. I don't even remember. I don't think he died. I think they just threw him in prison. I'm trying to remember all these movies about everything that happened. It
So
gets hard.
tough.
But I didn't
Yes.
know if they were going to bring him in because he's big in the comics for the Thunderbolts. So I was kind of interested to see if he was going to come in. I was excited for the dynamic of again David Harbour and Florence Pugh because so obviously like the new Black Widow
Hmm.
Yelena and the Red Guardian, Alexei, just because they're father and daughter, but they're not actually father and daughter. And Alexei was so good. David Harbour was so good in in Black Widow,
Yeah.
and just funny. And so I really was excited to see that. And um the any of the trailers did a really good job kind of highlighting that
Yeah.
humor. And all the Marvel movies have pretty good humor in them.
Hmm.
Even Endgame, which was devastating. It still had those moments of like really
Sure.
good humor where you're like, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, I was just kind of excited to see another team up movie.
Hmm.
Um, we didn't get that in Captain America. Like there's the new Falcon, but that wasn't really like a team up. Isaiah Bradley never really did anything. Bucky
Hmm.
didn't do anything in that one. Um, when you look at like Quantumania, Ant-Man and the Wasp, okay, so you have Ant-Man and the Wasp, but
Yeah.
even though it was like a family thing,
It's
it
a
wasn't really
duo,
a team up. Yeah,
you
it wasn't
know.
really a team up. And either what Guardians of the Galaxy, I guess, was about the last, probably Volume 3 was probably about the last team up movie that we saw. Um,
I think a
but
team is like four more, right?
yeah,
Okay, that's
probably.
what. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
four
so
more.
that was probably about the last one, but we've seen that team before, and they changed a
Yeah.
little bit, but we've seen that team before. That was a really good movie. I like that one a lot, but so I was just excited to see this team
You see
up,
what I did that for?
I think it was good. What's that?
You see that little Easter egg I dropped in there? Four more. Yeah, yeah. Just to touch point on the comedy real quick, because I'm a big I love the Thor series, and I love that they they sprinkle good good moments of comedy in these Marvel movies because we still have to remember that they're got to keep them kind of kid friendly, but
Yeah,
they came
yeah,
out a little hot in this movie, and I'll get to that too. I was like, damn, like just a little hot,
yeah.
and
You're telling me, bro.
yeah, I was like, dang, okay. So I was like, are these for kids anymore? I was trying to tell my like friends with kids. I'm like, yeah, I don't know if your kids should take
Yeah,
your kids to this.
it's dark. It's weird.
Yeah,
It's dark. It's
yeah,
dark and weird.
yeah. So, and I say that because Thor. I mean, obviously, he's just like I think he's just the biggest goofball in the MCU. So I loved how they sprinkled comedy throughout those, and I sometimes think they overdid it a little bit. Do you think that they use? Obviously, I think everything was the humor was very dry in it, which I loved, like very
Hmm.
sarcastic. But also like with Alexi. it's just like these loud bursts, right? I was like, I got to one point, I'm like, God, he's yelling a little much. He's yelling a little much. But I still I love his character. I love him as an
Yeah.
actor. Um, so I just, again, the humor, I didn't know what you thought about the humor, just overall, in the
Yeah, I
movie.
liked it. It was dark. Like
Yeah,
if
yeah.
we can kind of start going into spoilers, we're gonna have to. So we'll go
Yeah,
into
I know we're
spoilers
like
territory now.
tiptoeing around.
So yeah, so we're gonna start hitting it. So if you don't want to hear any spoilers or anything like that, you haven't seen it yet. This one is really worth going to see. I'm not just saying that because I see every Marvel movie. Like this one is. There have been some struggles in the last few. This one's really good. So go see it. Okay,
Yeah.
spoilers now. They started talking. It's really dark. Like you're focusing on um Yelena's just like depression and need
Hmm.
to belong somewhere, and
Yeah.
at the same time not really wanting to exist anymore. Um, something that is obviously like in today's society is people are shining more light on. And it's also like that's what in the comics, Bob, um, Century. That's like what he deals with. He's not a perfect hero. He's not even close to that. So the fact that they dove way into that, and that was like around a lot of the humor too, was just this dark kind of we're all depressed and our lives fucking suck. Sorry, but like kind
Yeah.
of stuff because you even saw that with John Walker, U.S. Agent, and just how his
Yeah.
life it has completely fallen apart since the Winter Soldier and Falcon and Winter Soldier. So
To the darkness, and when I tell you they came out pretty hot, when she's doing her thing, it highlights Yelena
yeah,
on a mission, and she's just like it goes from a lot of hand-to-hand combat, which we know that that's like her thing, and then she's just pop 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 like she's
yeah,
shooting cats. And I was like, and that was the moment I was like, oh, this is gonna be a good movie, because the Marvel fatigue was real for the longest time.
yeah,
There was so much buildup over what 18 years worth of buildup. To get to Endgame, right? And
yeah,
Endgame hits, and it's the ultimate team up movie. Like there's never been a bigger casted team up movie throughout history. So we've had some things that were just kind of like, okay, we got here. You've taken us there. There's nothing we just knew there was nothing else that was going to top that after this.
yeah.
So now I think this is finally on that next build up because everything, all the TV shows they were doing, you can name some stuff.
Everything, yeah, everything that
Everything Marvel.
Valentina showed up in. So you're
Yeah.
talking the Hawkeye TV show, you're
Miss
talking
Marvel.
Miss Marvel, like everything that those characters kind of popped in. Obviously, Falcon and Winter Soldier, because
Sure.
that was where John Walker that's where we first saw the MCU John Walker,
Uh-huh.
and even all the way back with like Taskmaster. So you go back to Black Widow, which is not that long ago, but yet somehow a long time ago.
No, isn't that
um,
weird? Oh,
so all of those, yeah. So they've been putting in a lot of these little pieces to kind of build it. I think that's also why this movie's really good.
hmm.
Valentina, I mean, she is a villain, and
Yeah.
Valentina has been built up through multiple shows and different pop-ins and movies and all that. Maybe not
Mhm.
to the point of Loki or some of these other bad guys that we've seen, but
Yeah.
that helps because we know that John Walker's an asshole. We know that
Yeah.
that Ghost struggled for a long time, all the way back in was that Ant-Man 2, Ant-Man and the Wasp,
Hmm.
that she first appeared. Like we know that she's been struggling with her ability to just keep her body intact and the tax that must have on you mentally and all that. So
Sure.
we get all of that build up, and that's why this is so good
Yeah.
because you've taken the time, much like with the Avengers
Yeah.
or Avengers Infinity War and Endgame, you took the time to tell all of these guys' stories. Not to that same level, obviously, because
Hmm.
we didn't have a Ghost movie and we didn't have just like a pure Red Guardian movie, but
But they were
um,
seen.
yeah, but
They
they
were
were
seen. They
seen
were
and
heard.
there were parts of it, and
Yeah.
so we got to build their story before we
Uh,
jumped into Thunderbolts. So that
yeah.
I really did like that part of it.
Yeah. And just getting to that point of like this movie made me lock back in
Yeah,
because I try my best to stay away from trailers now. Some of them are unavoidable, and others are just like, oh, okay, I really do want to watch this just real
Yeah.
quick to see what I'm getting. I didn't watch anything. I had no clue what I was walking into. And I'll be honest, I don't have a lot of comic book history when it
Yeah.
comes to, I can't be like, oh, this was, they stayed in the ballpark of the comic book, or I don't know. I didn't,
Yeah.
just to the fans, I'm not going to know everything. These worlds are too big to know everything. So I was just like, whoa, at the end of it, was like, yo, we're back. We're back.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
locked
for
back
sure.
in.
It was intense. It was dark. Like we said, this is the spoiler part, so I'm just going to talk about like the fact that Taskmaster gets shot in the head in the first 5, 10 minutes of like maybe 10 minutes of the
Yeah.
movie.
It was
And like
real.
one, I didn't like that. I liked it for the fact that it just showed like we're willing to kill any one of these people right off the bat because you didn't know if someone was gonna make it or not. I didn't like it because I would have liked to see Taskmaster a little bit more in action outside of
Yeah,
just Black Widow because I
sure.
think those powers are kind of cool. Like
Mm.
the power just like photographic fighting, whatever they call it. I forget. And it'd be able
Like
to like
mimicking.
mimic anything.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah. So like I would like to see that in different movies going forward.
Sure.
Especially if like now they're the new Avengers. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
if they're the
With the
new
Z.
Avengers, she
With
would
the
have
Z.
been, yeah, with the Z. Then like she would have been able to go up against more interesting fighters, right? All of a
Yeah,
sudden
yeah.
she sees Shang-Chi do his stuff
He's
in
sick.
like, and then so all of a sudden she's doing that, you know what I
Yeah,
mean, or
yeah.
whatever, and she could get the rings and is all of a sudden like,
And
so
do
that
we
would
know
have been
how she
cool.
got her powers? Was it
Oh, I forget. It was
lab
part of the. It
generated,
was,
or was it like something with the suit? Like, so can someone else take the mantle of Taskmaster?
I forget. I forget what it was. Like I don't know if I'm just looking back. It's obviously in Black Widow. Something
Mm.
that happened with the explosion when she was a kid or something, and then the Red Room. I don't know. I'm gonna say
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah.
You can
No, I got you.
somehow obviously do that and create a
Sure.
different Taskmaster and have it again, but it just kind of sucks that she died right away.
Yeah, it
Um,
was really like you just didn't get much, but you hit the nail on the head, I think. And I didn't even really think about the why because I was like, damn, was she supposed to die that
yeah.
quick? But you said basically showing we are willing to kill people off like this. Just buckle up because I was waiting for him to get up the whole time.
Oh, me too.
I
When
was like,
that
no
happened,
way.
I was
I
like,
was like, no way.
no, it's something happened,
Yeah,
or the helmet. Even though they showed the little blood, I was like, the helmet stopped it or something.
exactly, exactly. It's gonna
It's like
spit it back
oil
out like
coming from the
Logan,
helmet. It's not blood. And then also just like the darkness of the void, a void to come in and just make people
Mm,
disappear and just completely embracing your depression and there is nothing after this and there's nothing that matters in this world and just like that was dark too. It was a really dark take on that, but like kind of like I said, I don't know a ton about. I do read comics, but kind of
okay.
like you said,
Mm.
there's a lot out there and there's a lot
Yeah,
going
yeah.
on, and if you're not 100% up to date with it, like you could spend thousands of dollars on your poll list trying to keep up to date with everything and every
Hmm.
change that every writer decides to make or whatever. So it's too hard to do that. But from like the times that I've come across Century and Void in the comics, I liked the way that they represented him
Hmm.
um, in this movie too. So even though it's dark, he's kind of dark and depressed and and he needs that validation from people, but at the same time the world sucks and he sucks and like all of that kind of stuff.
And here's the thing: there's so much like it's funny at first,
Yeah.
and then it's not funny. You're like, oh, there's something wrong with this guy, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
We're like, people truly do laugh at Kevin Hart. Not a pun on his special, but like laugh at my pain.
Yeah.
Comedy,
Yeah.
pain is laughter. Laughter is pain, you know? So we're like, it was so, I was cracking up. And now I was like, I was kind of messed up. Oh, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, this is getting really dark.
Even when like I feel like a lot of times in these Marvel movies, if anybody's like hooked on any kind of drug, it's some kind of weird Marvelish type of drug. You know what I mean? Oh, he's hooked on this. Like I'm thinking back to Jessica Jones, like and
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can't think of the
and
name.
Trish of like she was addicted to that weapon enhancing combat enhancer thing, right? So even when
The
they're addicted to
boys.
drugs, what's that?
V. The
Yeah,
the V and the boys. Hooked on
yeah,
the
yeah,
V.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
always hooked into like they're always hooked on these like Marvelish type of comic booky drugs, and so just the fact that he was like, yeah, dude, like I was addicted to meth and I was just looking for a new drug to start like getting fucking high on and do all that. I was like, God, okay.
They normalized
Like,
him so
yeah,
quick.
yeah,
When they
yeah.
said
And
that,
it
I was like,
was,
yeah, I
and
don't
not
think I'm
that,
going to tell any of my friends to take their
yeah,
kids.
and
Like
that's a normal thing that happens in the real world, but it doesn't seem to be happening in
Marvel World.
like PG Marvel worlds. You know what I mean? Even when they're talking about like, oh, they're selling drugs and guns, it's just kind of like, okay, they're just selling drugs and guns, but they don't really go like they're not like,
No.
oh, it's the heroin capital of the world and they're killing all these kids, and you're like, oh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you're like that's too dark for Marvel. But this was just like, no,
Sure.
dude, he's addicted to meth and
Meth and
looking for
it,
his next thing in Malaysia, like
yeah,
to
yeah.
get it.
That's a
So
real.
yeah,
And like you said, it's always these Marvel enhanced guns with like the
yeah,
cube.
yeah,
The
yeah.
Tesseract's gonna make these.
Yeah. Yeah. So just seeing
Like, why are you
like
doing this?
you
Because of him.
see, yeah, you see a lot of the bad guys, like they'll when Hydra came, they had no problem shooting people with guns and all that, but it's always the bad guys. So yeah, just to see Yelena walk through and just murder people and just
Yeah,
like be like, I hate my life and this is so
yeah.
boring. You're dead, you're dead, you're dead, and then the meth and the depression and all that. So yeah, it was crazy.
Well, when she showed up at her dad's house, at Alexi's house, it was a moment, and I didn't know the relationship right off the bat, but then I got it pretty obviously pretty quickly. Um, and then she said, "Daddy, you weren't
Oh yeah, you weren't
there.
there.
I needed you," and I
Yeah.
was like, oh, my
Yeah.
eyes watered up
Oh yeah.
instantly. I don't do
And
well
then
with the whole like hearing that, like,
yeah, and then he was like, "Well, I didn't know if you wanted me." Like, so he was dealing with the same stuff where he want like, and there was no communication there, obviously, so they couldn't figure it out, and they couldn't figure out that they both just wanted to be with each other and hanging out with each other, and
yeah.
but they both were like, "No."
The the again, the normalization of these characters, they needed to do it because, and I almost feel like there was a level of it in Suicide Squad because at one point you're eventually going to root for the villains. You see what they're coming from and what they're going through, and it all makes sense on why they are who they are now. You know, like the story is so dark and so, man, it was just tough. Like she just wanted her dad, and dad just wanted her daughter, and then
Yeah.
he just wanted to like matter again and like be be a superhero and be like I was just like, this is crazy. Like it was,
Yeah. Yeah, and then and a couple of things that I really liked too was so Valentina's trying to create the Century, trying to create a superhero that she can control, um, and gain all that power from it. But I liked how at some point Mel, her assistant, was just like, "You give this kind of serum to someone like Steve Rogers, and you get Captain America. You give this serum to someone like Bob, and we don't know what happens, and you end up getting the Void, or even the Century at the beginning when he was so easily manipulated by Valentina. And I think we saw that with John Walker too. John Walker was obviously not stable and ends up killing somebody in the Falcon,
mhm.
and Winter Soldier. Um, his marriage has completely fallen apart. He loses his kid, all that kind of stuff because he's not Steve Rogers. He was
Yeah,
John Walker, and he was the one who got the serum. And so all of those little imperfections that are detrimental to being a superhero were like amplified, just like it was
yeah.
in Bob.
They're in your code.
So
They're
I
in your
liked that.
DNA.
Yeah.
You could line up 10 people and give them all cocaine, and they're all going to act different on them. You know what I'm saying? They're going to
Yeah, yeah,
rage a
yeah.
little
Yeah,
different,
yeah.
you
A
know?
violent person is going to be violent. Like a
Yeah,
happy comedian guy is going to be happier and more comedic. And yeah.
everything
So
is
sometimes it's just going
amplified.
to amplify that. And yeah,
And
and
so
that's what we saw here.
that line was epic because of what you just said. If you give this to so and so, A. If you give it to so and so, B. Completely different.
Yeah. And we saw, and that's like almost like the perfect thing because you see Captain America, like the ideal of what it can be, Steve Rogers. And then you see kind of in the middle slash maybe more, yeah, more towards the gray
Hmm.
and the darker side with John Walker. And then you see the complete dark side of the void,
Yeah.
of like what happens and the powers that you get with that kind of stuff, like just crazy. I also loved just seeing because the Sentry is basically he's one of Marvel's Superman, right? Like
Yeah.
everybody always
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
compares like, oh, Iron Man is Marvel's Batman and Batman is DC's Iron Man, Tony
Sure.
Stark,
Sure.
whatever.
Right. Right.
So there's a few people out there who could be Marvel's Superman, but this is like the messed up in the head Superman for Marvel.
Yeah.
So and
Yeah.
we haven't really seen that. Thor's pretty obviously close.
Yeah.
But just the wealth of powers that
Hmm.
Century has
He had
was
everything.
just crazy. That fight between the Thunderbolts and Century, it was like you got no chance. You got no chance.
Like the lightest of light work. Right. And
Yeah,
I was just like, who's coming to help?
yeah, yeah. Because you got three super soldiers in Red Guardian, Winter Soldier, and U.S. Agent, and they didn't put a dent in him. Yelena is okay. She's a normal human with super spy training, and then
Yeah.
Ghost. Okay, so some
Got a
combat outside of her short teleportation.
Yeah, but
Um,
that kept getting neutralized in that
yeah,
room
yeah,
when they were
yeah,
in the limo
yeah.
from the
Yeah,
speaker. I was just like,
some
yeah,
sound
yeah.
waves
So
threw her off.
they got her cut off quick. But again, if you don't neutralize this certain character, it's too like it just makes it too kind of too easy. So you gotta suppress those abilities, or the story really doesn't move, in my opinion. And that happens with a lot because you're like, well, why don't so and so just why don't they just fly him out of there? You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
but
yeah.
like,
So it was a gutsy move to bring in Century because he is so powerful and he is
mhm,
so overpowered. It's a lot of reasons why I get bored with Superman movies. Like I really like Superman and I like the comics and I like the animated shows and I like
yeah,
all that kind of stuff. But it gets really boring because you're just kind of like, okay, how's anybody going to beat Superman? Oh, they're going to kidnap Lois Lane or they're going to use kryptonite. Like those are the only two things you can do.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
not
yeah.
like it's not like a Captain America where okay, yeah, he's super strong, but like if the government turns on him, like you could end up killing him. If his friends turn on him, you can end up killing him. If there's
Yeah.
a million different things that can go wrong, and with the Century, you're just like no. So to totally jump in like the mental mindset of it and be like, that's how we're gonna have to defeat
There's your
Century
weakness.
and
You
Void.
had to
Yeah,
find
yeah,
your
yeah.
soft spot, right?
It was a really interesting way um to kind of handle that and to
Yeah,
let the Thunderbolts win. Um,
yeah, yeah.
because otherwise there was just no way. They weren't gonna be like I don't know. They're not gonna find some kryptonite or something.
So no, not at all. Because I'm like, again, unless I had a deeper dive in the comics, which I don't know this character's ins and outs. But again, I think they set it up very well, showing like
Yeah.
this is a fragile person. You know, you gave him the costume, you changed the hair. He's got a little,
Yeah.
chin a little higher, chest a little out. And then you're just like, oh, how does this side feel? But that other side's still there.
Yeah.
So he's now exploring into this like, oh, I could crush you like a bug, pretty much. And
I
she
was
had her little,
also that kind of that kind of helped that Taskmaster thing at the beginning because again I was like, oh, one of these guys are gonna die because I thought Century would in that fight. I was
Mhm.
like, oh, Century's gonna kill one of them. I don't know who, but
Yeah,
I didn't think it was gonna be Yelena because they weren't going to kill her off. She
No,
was
no,
too
no.
important. But I was like, you could easily kill off at this point a Bucky, a Red Guardian, a Ghost. I don't want to see.
Bucky sells tickets.
Well, yeah, I
Bucky
don't
ain't
want Bucky to
Bucky
go,
ain't going
but
nowhere.
like
You know how many
if they took the movie in a different way and the Void didn't come, and it was just them fighting Sentry and having to beat him some way, blah blah blah. I could see Bucky dying and then them trying to somehow rally around that
Yeah.
and do it. I don't want Bucky to die. I didn't necessarily think he would die. Like honestly,
Yeah.
it was going to be Ghost or Red Guardian that were going to be the
Sure.
first to go. But yeah, just because Taskmaster died at the beginning, I was like, oh God, one of these Thunderbolts could die right
Right?
now.
Well, check this out. These girls were sitting behind me, and I eventually moved because they were just talking, and I'm that old now. I'm just like, shut up.
Shut
Um,
up in movies. You can
but,
cheer, you
yeah,
can give like a woo. Yeah,
and
like,
you can
shut
laugh.
up.
You can laugh when it's funny, but
Yeah, or you can even
outside
give
of
like
that,
a
you shut the
or like a
up.
oh. Or like I can even handle like a no. Like when someone dies. If Bucky dies,
Sure, sure, sure.
no, but don't talk.
Don't talk. We don't zip it. Um, Austin Powers, would you like to take a suckle of my zipper?
Exhibit A. Yeah.
It's Zippet A. Um, she goes to this one of the friends goes to the bathroom, comes back. Is my did I miss my husband yet? So
Oh no,
like
Bucky.
people
Yeah.
that don't give a shit about Marvel movies are going because they think this man
Yeah.
is DreamWorks, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it makes sense. Like I said, he probably would have been last on my Yelena was last on my list. He was second to last, and then
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I thought Ghost was the most likely to die in that situation, and then Red Guardian, and then the other two. But
for sure. Red Guardians is
oh,
coming
and I
because
totally forgot about John Walker and John Walker. They could have killed John Walker off, and I think everybody would have been totally chill with that. So
yeah,
probably
yeah, yeah,
Ghost and John Walker were probably my one and two because
sure,
John Walker is a POS in the story.
sure, sure.
Even, regardless if you feel bad for him or not. So
And yeah, and again, they made you like this dude lost his daughter. You
yeah,
know, you're
yeah.
like, damn.
Taken, yeah.
Now I feel bad. You know,
To clarify, taken, yeah, just taken away from him by the wife.
sure,
So at least so she didn't
sure.
die. But yeah, just so that just for anybody
Wink.
listening, just for anybody
No,
listening.
I'm just kidding, guys. Just kidding, viewers.
Um.
Uh,
Okay, so yeah, I go ahead. Let's wrap this up with thoughts on. We know what the asterisk is now because at the end, Valentina, they're gonna. Well, Red Guardian is going to kill that lady, and
that was very good, man.
yeah, thank you. And then
We should have
everybody
did
else
this
is
whole
like, no,
episode in Russian
she's
with the
got to
Russian
go
accent.
to yeah, she's got to go to prison. She's got to get impeached or whatever. And then she comes out on the other side, and she of course flips it like the dirty, shady politician, corporate America piece of crap that she is into. And I saw a need for the new
Yes.
Avengers.
You know we
So
own you now.
so now, so
I got
now
it.
we know they're the new Avengers.
Busy.
What do we think about that? We get the post credit scene 14, I think it was 14 months later, where
Hmm.
they're full on new Avengers, but we saw all the newspaper clippings where they're like, not my Avengers, like
Yeah.
Avengers what? And like, can this person really be an Avenger? All that kind of stuff. So no one trusts them, no one's in that. What do you think of them as the new Avengers? Knowing
I
that in the comics there are the Avengers, the West Coast Avengers, the Young Avengers, the New Avengers. So the Avengers and the New Avengers can exist in this
sure.
MCU, and that was kind of the debate in the post credit scene. Well, if they're the Avengers, what are we? So yeah, what do you think of this group as the New Avengers?
I first of all, I love it because it's only adding meat and potatoes to what. How do you upstage in game?
Yeah,
They
yeah,
have a plan. So if this is a part of that plan, which I think we see what in game was, and again, how do you top that? I think they're in the works of topping that right before our eyes, but they got to set everything up first. So I know that this is going to be it's its own little Guardians of the Galaxy right now. This is
yeah,
their own little
yeah,
squad. So I'm okay because I know eventually everybody's coming back together, right? We're
Hmm.
gonna get another one. We have to. It's gonna be a whole different cast of people, but we're gonna get another one of those in-game. What's a really big word that's like grandiose movie? Like
Anybody out there, if you could
Gallopantante.
please tell me the word for
Ah, ah.
yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see. One, you don't trust him at all. That's a whole reason. It's really interesting to see Bucky be now as a congressman, so people trust him enough to vote for him for office. But that's the whole reason why he didn't take the shield and why Steve Rogers didn't give him the shield is because you can't with that history, right? He
Sure.
can't go from a serial assassin, brainwashed or not, good person before the brainwashing or not. You can't go from that to Captain America. So it's interesting that he is now part of the new like no, it's not interesting
Misfit.
as part of new Avengers, but it's interesting that every single person on that team is him or worse. Um, and
Yeah.
where he was probably the worst on an Avengers team before, and now it's like, oh no, all these people have done like I can't imagine what Red Guardian did for Russia, like
Oh yeah.
in his heyday. And we know Yelena was real jacked up, and um, so yeah, I think that's going to be interesting. John Walker's is crazy. But I do like
Bro,
Bucky as the leader of that team. That made sense. It made sense how he became the leader of the Thunderbolts, even though
sure.
Red Guardian wants to be the leader.
No,
I can
I love
drive
it.
if you get
We could be
tired.
co-lead. Um,
um, but yeah, I did like that, and that made sense. So
this movie has layers,
yeah, okay,
and this they're how again you saw the like you'd mentioned the paper clippings.
yeah,
Not
yeah,
my
not my
Avengers.
Avengers, yeah, or like, can we really trust
This
this
is how we
person?
look at
Or
convicts
yeah, yeah,
when they come back into society.
yeah,
There's this kind of shadow hanging over them. Oh, when you
yeah,
find out, oh, I'm a felon, they don't treat them the same.
yeah. Well, I mean,
They never
yeah.
get treated the same.
Everybody saw John Walker kill that guy in the Falcon and Winter Soldier. Like everybody saw that. Like I'm pretty sure Yelena's files got released at some point or something, so everybody could go into like what she did as a Black Widow. So everybody knows what all these people are.
Sure.
So that's going to be really interesting. Okay, so lastly, I think the best way to wrap it up, end credit scene. They're talking about the new Avengers. We've kind of already dived into that, but the very end, there's that anomaly that's coming through space.
Hmm.
We saw that it was the Fantastic Four ship. I was excited about this because I was okay. So I saw the trailer, obviously. I've seen the trailer for Fantastic Four. I saw the first one, and then I saw whatever one is out now before this movie because they played it right before the movie. So I saw that
Sure,
one,
sure.
and the whole time I was thinking like, there's no way they're in the 50s right now. They got flying robots, they got all this stuff, and they're not in this Earth's. I think our is in the comics, the main Earth is 616. I don't know if our Earth in the MCU, I can't remember, is 616. They mentioned it at some point in Spider-Man, in one of the Spider-Man movies, but I can't remember what Earth we're on. So there's no way that it's this Earth. I was just like, there's no possible way. Nobody's ever talked about the Fantastic Four ever in any of these Marvel movies since then. Like, no one's ever talked about it. Or like, so the fact that they had to come through something in space to then get here, I think that just means that whatever happens in that movie in the Fantastic Four First Steps is in a different multiverse world, different Earth, right?
Different timeline.
Different
I
timeline,
think we're just
different
getting,
Earth.
hey, this is them. This is the start of them. This is their movie. This is how blah blah blah. And then we're gonna get the 20 years later, 100, whatever, another
Yeah,
on planet, whatever. This
Yeah,
isn't
I'm
the same.
thinking their
It's not even the same
battle.
ship. It's
Yeah,
historically that's not the ship. That's not the ship that they fly.
yeah,
Am I
and
right?
and I'm thinking, yeah, and I'm thinking like, so we've already seen this in the trailer. We know Galactus is going to be there. We know Silver Surfer is going to be there. We know all of that. So I'm
Sure, sure.
thinking in whatever battle they have with Galactus, however they stop him, they need to somehow go to space
Yeah.
um, and battle him there. I don't know how that's
Right.
going to work because it looks like Galactus is in their New York. Because at the very end of that trailer, like that giant foot comes down and he's walking. So I'm thinking, however they fight in space, something happens, and then they get pulled through I don't know what they're going to call it, a wormhole, get pulled through a rift, a tear, and space and time, whatever they call it.
Space and
That's how they're going to get pulled into
time.
um, our Earth for that. So I thought that was interesting, and at least I don't know, I felt better about that because I didn't like that they were going to be in this like weird '50s futuristic world if that was supposed to be our Earth the whole time, and everybody's just like forgotten about them.
Yeah, and again, they're kind of coming at from left field here.
Yeah.
So,
So
um,
it makes me more excited for Fantastic Four because now I trust it more. Not I should always trust Marvel because they've done a great job, but yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean, the last two, I mean, the only two that we've gotten that I know of. 'Cause I know there's a Fantastic Four TV show back in the day.
Yeah, I never watched that.
It was
That
super
was way
old,
before my time, and
way before my time,
yeah,
way. Um,
yeah.
it didn't stick.
I saw
It
the one
didn't
with Chris
stick.
Evans and Jessica Alba and whoever, but I mean, it was just okay. I
Michael B.
did not,
Jordan was
I
in one.
didn't, I did not see the Michael B. Jordan one because everybody was just like, "Oh yeah, it's terrible again." And I was like, "Okay,
Yeah,
I'll just
I mean,
avoid
they
it."
can This is one of those ones they can't get right. But just in the trailer alone, you're like, "Whoa, this is gonna be sick."
Yeah, it'll be good. It'll be good for sure.
Like, I think just timing, technology, certain things. This just needed to like marinate. This needed to simmer a little longer.
Yeah,
We tried it. Obviously, they tried a lot of stuff that you know it wasn't a home run, but was necessary for story's sake. But this one didn't really fit in with anything that Marvel was doing at the time through the MCU. Now we need to get this right because this group of people matters because they're coming again in
yeah,
another movie, and they're probably going to be
yeah,
in another movie, right? So
yeah.
they, Pedro, does he miss?
No, not right now.
Chat, correct me if I'm wrong, but in the
Everybody's.
comments, let me know if Pedro Pascal, or if I'm saying his name right, is he has he had a flop? Has he done anything
I mean,
worth not
probably,
mentioning?
but there's probably something 15 years ago that he did that you're like, oh God, yeah, that was terrible. But not recently. Everything he does now is
Was
really good,
he
and that's part
terrible
of.
or was the movie
Well, I
terrible?
don't know, but I because I don't know what it was. He was
I don't
probably
know.
in an episode of ER at some point, and I just didn't notice him. Like who
He was
knows?
just a
Some of
pizza
those times
delivery
you see
guy.
that. Some of those that like Jeremy Renner being in an episode of House, and you're just like when you rewatch it, and you're like, oh damn, that's Hawkeye.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so you don't know.
I watched the thing on him. He why they didn't do why season two got canceled because Disney wanted to pay him half of
mm,
what they paid him in the first season. He said because I got ran over by a car, I'm half a man now.
okay.
And
Yeah,
I was like,
that's
you know,
like Disney doesn't have billions of dollars.
I
Okay.
know. You're like, come on, put some respect on that man's name for what he just did for the MCU. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
Hawkeye's dope. So
I really like Hawkeye.
I
No,
actually have
okay.
two questions for
Yeah,
you
hit me.
in regards. One, just what was your thought? I'm just going to mention the darkest part of the movie. Spoiler again.
This whole thing's been spoilers. They better be.
When that little girl,
Oh, it just disappeared. That
everybody in myself included, goes,
Yeah, that was a gasp moment. That was a gasp moment
I
for sure.
go,
Especially
whoa.
because like I didn't know how strong Red Guardian was going to be. Like the fact that he could withstand part of a building falling from that height
Yeah, he's a real
and
one.
hold it, like that was impressive. So I was like, oh, that was also one of the moments where I thought one of them was going to die. Someone was
Yeah,
going to like Ghost was going to get in there and try to teleport her out and die, or
yeah.
Red Guardian was going to run over and get crushed, and so that was
That
one of
was
the
definitely
things. And
set up
then
for that.
so the relief that I felt when okay, whew, like Red Guardian's still alive, or whoever
Yeah.
was going to go over there was still alive.
Hmm.
And then yeah, that was the shock. Was I was like, oh my god, it wasn't. I think this little girl's going to die. It was one of these heroes is going to die saving this little girl, and then she just disappears, and you see the
Yeah.
Void's power like come to and you don't know what the MCU's version of the Void is going to be.
Yeah.
Like,
I
is she
didn't know
dead?
what was going on.
Is it a snap thing where she can come back? Is it so? Yeah, you don't know at that point. So yeah, that was a gasp moment for sure, and hard.
Yeah, because when Yelena was on the on the edge of it, I thought Guardian was gonna grab her and pull her backwards, but
Okay, yeah.
whoop, she
Yeah.
stepped on in, and we know what happened after that. But last question, letter grade. What are you giving Thunderbolts? Letter grade.
Oh man. This is a rough grade. I'm just gonna say like A minus. It was a really good movie. It was a really
That
good
was
movie.
mine.
I really have to yeah, I really have to
That
think
was
about
mine.
it probably more and we can get as we get going, um, more with Nerd Kingdom, we'll probably come up with a for sure system. But right now, A minus, like kind
Yes,
of
yeah.
not knowing and kind
Ben
of being
Ben
put
has a
on there.
system cooking for us.
Okay, there we go. There
So
we go. So
well,
so I would say A minus right now. It's worth it. If you were kind of shied off by the last handful of Marvel movies, whatever your reasoning is, I think this one will kind of bring you back,
yeah.
and kind of shakes off some of that fatigue because it is pretty different. It's still a bunch of people that punch and they're strong
Mhm.
because that's what
Yeah.
a lot of the powers are. But Sentry has a lot of interesting powers. And if Bob can keep Void at bay, it'll be really cool to see some of the stuff. He's one of the strongest Marvel superheroes in the comics. Um, I don't know if he's top 10 or he's either top 20 for sure, but he might be like top 10 according to Marvel, like one of
Yeah.
the strongest. So it'll be really interesting to see what he does. Okay, I got one thing of homework then. Everybody
Okay.
down in the comics, because I started having this conversation with my brothers who I saw this movie with. Who then is going to be in the Avengers? Who's going to be in like classified an Avenger? Because at the end of Captain America Brave New World, we saw that Anthony Mackie's Captain America was then put in charge of kind of making the new Avengers.
Hmm.
Not the new Avengers, but this iteration of the Avengers team. So knowing that Bucky is a new Avenger and Yelena is off the board and those people are off the board, I'm interested to know what people in the comments put down there. And by next episode, which we're going to try to come out with these every Friday, by next episode, I want both of us to have our list of
Yeah.
who we think is going to be in Anthony Mackie's Captain America Avengers team.
Okay. That's fair.
Deal?
That's
Okay.
fair. Oh,
All right, now
absolutely.
we can move on.
Yeah, now we can finally move on. Yes. Man, moving on to the news.
Yeah, this is our one thing of news for this week. We might have some more news. We might focus more on news in the future, but this is our one thing of big news that happened this week that we wanted to hit on.
Yeah, Rockstar drops a bomb on us of well, they've dropped several bombs, but again, and we'll get to the what we think about this, but they let us know that Grand Theft Auto 6 isn't coming this year. It's going to be coming May 26th of 2026.
Yeah,
So many
getting
positive things happening. The World Cup, I mean, that's just one thing,
yeah, getting
happening in
delayed
2026.
from fall 2025 to May 2026.
I'm looking
May, and not even
forward
like
to
May, like the end of May. It's not
yeah,
May 1st. It's not May 10th. May 26th,
right?
2026.
What if
So
they just push it off a little bit and then in the comments you get, man, America got an Olympics before we got Grand
oh
Theft Auto
yeah. Oh
6.
yeah. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Okay, so we were we
So,
were looking at this. Grand Theft Auto 5 came out on September 17th, 2013. So we're now looking at just under 13 years in between Grand Theft Auto games. Now, studios like this and like Naughty Dog, because Naughty Dog is doing The Last of Us, but then they go back to
mm,
doing an Uncharted game, and then they go back to doing like
great
so they
games.
bounce these really good studios kind of bounce back and forth in between games. And I know that Rockstar has different divisions, but they did go to Red Dead Redemption 2, and then now they're kind of going so they do kind of
They
alternate,
did
go
give us
back
red.
and
They gave
forth
us
into
Red Dead.
different things.
So,
But that's still a long time since Grand Theft
yeah.
Auto.
I mean, it's gone through since PS3 is
Yeah,
when it
PS3.
released.
I played that on
We've had
360. That's what
three
I had that on my Xbox
PlayStations.
360. Yeah.
One game has thrived on.
Yeah, that I don't understand. I don't understand. Like I get it. It's a great game. I loved it when I played it. I beat it. I played it for probably I don't know, 40, 60, 70 hours, whatever it is. And then I
Mhm.
was like, but then I was kind of like, okay, I'm done. I never went back on and did online. like GTA Online or anything. So I don't fully understand it. I
There's no
get
other
how
game like it.
I get
There's
I
there
yeah, I
there's
get it, but I
nothing.
don't get it.
Yeah. It's what people really want to do. They want to shoot up towns, but
Yeah.
like here, go
Are
do it in the
you
game, please.
yeah, are you upset though about this?
Am I upset? No.
That it's pushed back.
No, definitely not upset because again, I think they've talked about certain things that they're trying to change gaming with
Yeah.
this. The structure of in-game currency and potentially having an opportunity to make money or
Yeah.
some type of transaction inside the game to I guess equivalent real money. So I might have been stretching a
I
little
don't
bit,
know. I
but
don't know, but I don't
just
like
from
that.
what they
I
I
don't
don't
like
know.
that though. But sometimes games add too much stuff. You know what I mean? You're just like, oh
Yeah.
god, dang, dude, just get me to the mission. Like, what are we doing? Why am I out here catching butterflies to try to make a serum, and I got to do this? And I'm like, oh my
Yeah, that's
god,
Grand Theft Auto. That's Red Dead.
just
That's Red Dead.
just let me do something else. And some of them are like I enjoyed the hunting in Red Dead Redemption and trying to like find the legendary animals and do all that kind of stuff. But there's just certain aspects of certain games where I'm like, oh God, this didn't need to be in here. This is just it's just crap to be crap.
Yeah.
I don't think that's not Grand Theft Auto. That's not what Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be. I'm not upset either because I am so sick of games that come out half finished. Music doesn't work in this section for some reason. The guys' faces are missing in this thing. Everything's popping in as you
Hmm.
try to do this or and then the I get that you have to have day one patches because they're just working, but the day one patches are sometimes so big and ridiculous. And then
Hmm.
it doesn't even fix anything when you actually play because you're playing it and you don't notice the fixes that it made because it's still so unfinished. So if this would have come out in 2023 because they would have rushed it or 2024 or even earlier this year or fall, like it said, and it's not ready, that's not worth it, man. You're
Yeah.
spending 70, $80 on video games. You're
Yeah.
spending so
I
much
mean,
money.
you
Like
just
finish the game and the
yeah.
companies need to like invest in it,
Hmm.
finish it the right way. Then
Sure.
you can add on DLC at the end because DLC should be what you're working on, not oh god, the for some reason the sun keeps falling out of the sky and
Ah,
it like for some reason you punch a person and it's a boxing game and the guy goes flying 7 miles that way. You know what I mean? Like finish the game.
Sentry? Is that you?
Century Red guarding people
Red Guard,
just left and
right?
right.
No, legit though. But you're looking at a game that has it, or a franchise that has a game that's lasted again multiple systems, unheard of, to
Yeah.
where it's lost nothing. And usually people only fix stuff when sales are going into the ground, right? But this
Hmm.
thing has lived and had so much life breathed into it over all of these years that I think they're probably expecting this to do the same thing. And with what they
Yeah.
have coming, I think they're gonna have these new and improved DLCs. And so much of watching what other games are doing with DLCs,
Hmm.
uh, I mean, the
Seasons
micros
and
transactions and
yeah.
everything with
See, if you
Call
think
of
about it,
Duty,
I don't even think
Fortnite.
seasons weren't even a thing when the first one came out.
No, absolutely not.
And
Season started
they've kind of started to do some different
Fortnite,
things with
right?
the hotel. Yeah, maybe Fortnite, but like Grand Theft Auto has done things like oh now we're gonna do the casino heist and now we're gonna do this and we're
See, that was
but
cool.
like but they can lean so much more into what the industry is now if
Hmm.
they take their time and they finish it. And diehard Grand Theft Auto fans should want them to take the time because do you want to be playing this game for 13 more years when this comes out? Well, then let
Sure.
them finish it and let them do everything they want with it because the things you're gonna be able to do with it are gonna be crazy. So give them the time so that you can play this for another 13 years when it comes out.
I think you're going to see and I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. And I think you're going to see a Call of Duty Warzone style of online experience. To a degree. I don't mean exactly
Yeah,
like
yeah.
like a multiplayer like that. I think Grand Theft Auto is going to stay traditional to Grand Theft Auto, but I also feel like there's going to be this structured like boom, what hey, we're all on a group. Where do we want to go? What game do we want to play? Oh, we want to try this 5v5. Oh, this is
Yeah.
capture the flag. Where are we going? So I think
Yeah.
it's going to be a little more easy. I think it's going to be easier to navigate, but I think there's going to be a more because everybody lives online. You play. Some people do, but some people just get it to play online, just like Call of Duty. Like I think that
Mhm.
that has such an impact in the gaming world, GTA's online experience, that I think that's what they're working on. Personally, I think the game has
Yeah.
been done. I think the story mode has been done, but I think the
I
online is
think
what they're
I well,
tweaking.
I think maybe the
Personally,
story mode is probably done because you have the story and you have the story you want to tell. But
sure.
think about how big the Grand Theft Auto 5 map was.
Hmm.
Again, 13 years ago. Think about 13 years ago when this one will come out, basically. Think about the size of that map and the detail and everything. So think about, I think that's part of it too, just the sheer size and the sheer like,
What if it doubled?
and we just got to be like, well, what if they're just like, oh, you can walk into any apartment building? Like, I don't know. Grant, like, Rockstar pushes the boundaries so much that anything can
Yes,
be possible that there could be in a huge apartment building and you could be like, you can go into any single one of these rooms if you want to. So like, but we got to make
that's
sure all the bugs are out. You got to
crazy.
make sure every single person you can interact with. You got to make sure all of the coding and the behind the scenes stuff to make sure that everything works that way
Yeah.
must just be crazy. So I think, yeah, maybe they're hitting some online stuff too, and they're probably polishing everything. But there is probably so much this game that we can't even like comprehend yet because gaming has never been there.
It,
That's probably
again,
what they are
this
having to
it'll
fix and
change.
work on and change and perfect. So yeah,
I agree.
I'm not. It sucks if we can't play it, but I'm not sad about it because I want it to be good,
No,
and
no,
I
and I
don't want it
think
to be full of glitches
hmm
and everything else. So I'm
absolutely,
totally fine with it.
absolutely.
Okay, so we're gonna close out. I think we should close out every episode of Checkpoint this way. So you let me
Yeah.
know. But what we're watching, playing, and reading, and it doesn't need to be a long thing, but just kind of what we're into now. Maybe some of you out there haven't heard of it and want to check it out because you
Yeah,
trust
yeah, yeah.
us because we're trustworthy.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
That wasn't creepy at all. This is what we are watching, what we're playing, what we're reading. Let's do reading really quick just because I don't. Are you reading any comics right now?
Books? No, I'm just kidding.
No.
Comics? No. No, currently no. Currently
Okay, so
no. I do
that's
have
why I was
some
like,
new
let's start with
Ronin
this one.
stuff to get through, but I just haven't had
Oh,
the
okay,
appropriate time to
gotcha.
sit down
Yeah.
and do so. So
So quickly, I've been reading the Krakoan Age, which is a storyline in Marvel Comics with the X-Men. They finally find their home world that they want to make their own, Krakoa. It's a living world, living, breathing world, whatever. It's a really long storyline. It went from July 2019 to sometime in 2014, mid or 2024, sometime mid 2024. There's a bunch of things in it: House of X, Powers of X, Reign of X, Fall of X, all that. I'm like probably a third of the way through. It's really good. It's like it's some really good X-Men stuff. I've also been reading Batman White Knight. That came out a while ago, October of 2017. That's just basically Joker is like seen as like a good guy. I haven't finished it, so I'm still in the
sure, sure,
middle of it.
sure. You're
So
good.
Joker's seen as a good guy, and the Batman is completely off his rocker crazy and trying and
Yeah,
just going like balls to the wall and no one trusts him
man.
and all that. It's pretty good. What I
Love it.
really want to read though is Batman Hush 2,
Hmm.
which just came out maybe a month ago. Because Batman
Did
Hush,
you
if you
get it
guys have,
already?
what's that?
You bought it already to read?
I haven't bought it yet because I'm getting like the issues one at a time because they have like really cool covers. So this is one of those ones where I'll
Gotcha.
get the issues, but then I'll read it all at once. But yeah, so if you guys have not read Batman Hush, the first one, it is one of the best storylines I have ever read in any comic. So check out Batman Hush. Okay, let's do what we're playing because we're both playing. We're also not playing very much because we've been really
Oh.
busy with work.
Oof.
So
You've had Nuggets playoff runs.
Nuggets and I've been doing abs stuff for
Ab-
playoffs. Yeah, so it's just been and on top like I have a normal 9 to 5 boring job on top of that. So that's just like So yeah, I've been too busy. So the only thing that I'm looking forward to playing, because it just came out a week or two ago for PlayStation 5, and that's what I'm currently on, is Indiana Jones: The Great Circle. So I'm at some point, maybe this weekend, maybe next weekend, I'm gonna finally buy that and dive into it. So that's all I got right
Okay.
now, though. I haven't been able to play
Nice.
much of anything. So Xavier, you go.
Except you got that. So honestly, um, I have I've had a franchise, a Madden franchise going for a while. And when I tell you I'm just the worst person you want to be in a franchise with, I truly mean that. When I my this schedule has been scheduling. Okay, let me tell
Wait,
you,
are you
folks.
so just to clarify, is it your franchise and somebody else is on your franchise with you, or is it the one where like each
We had 8
person
users,
has
and now
okay,
there's
and you each
like
have your own team, and so you're
5 users.
okay,
Yes,
okay.
but just because everyone in the group is kind of like my brother's got his job, G's got his, doing
Yeah,
NBA games, and so's over here doing, Ben's doing NHL
yeah.
stuff. You know what I mean? So everybody has been kind of just in their own thing right now, and it's just gotten really busy. So we haven't had the most time, but I made the playoffs. I have to play my brother tonight, second round of the playoffs. So it is what it is.
Ain't
So
no thing.
that, and then trying to get online on Call of Duty, uh, in your 30s, in your mid 30s,
No,
it
trying to get online in Call of Duty, period,
period.
in today's world is awful. You tell me why it sucks for you, and then I'm going to tell you why it sucks. This
Man,
is I could get on this
well,
soapbox
coming
all
from
day.
PC, like, and I usually, guys, I have a PS5, I have an Xbox X. That was not a flex. I just am terrible with my money. I I have those systems, other parts of the house, but my PC's right here, so I've kind of dedicated to playing Call of Duty on my PC. Now, there are significantly more uh things to do and know about the PC gaming experience than a console. Most people know that. If you don't, now you do. But the audio settings are atrocious on PC. Oh my goodness. So they could hear me, but I could not hear them. So in the comments, if someone's in IT, if somebody works for anybody, just help me, because like they were just like,
No,
man, I just got frustrated and I hopped off. So I played
no.
one game
Here's
and we hopped off.
okay. So I totally get that because ah,
Ugh.
this I'm gonna complain for I'm gonna the
Just
shortest
go
amount
in,
of time that I
dive
possibly
head
can.
first.
I hate that every single time I try to get on Call of Duty, I have to download another 20 gigabyte update. I don't need access to every single past Call of Duty game and iteration of Warzone and zombies and da, ba, 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 ba. Let me play what I want to play. Right now I just want to hop on normal multiplayer. I like not even Warzone right at this second because Warzone's just been around for so long. I'm like, okay, you brought Verdansk back? Okay. Do you know how many hours I already spent in Verdansk? Like I'm good. I don't need to
Yeah,
like relive the memories of that. So anyway, I'm so sick of having to download a new update every single time.
it's horrible.
Two, go into what you're saying, the amount of times I have to close the game, back out, like completely shut it down, get back into it to fix not being able to hear people in my party, not being able to hear people in my chat, not being able to find people who are online because I'm literally texting them and they are online and I know they're online, but they're not showing up online. All of these little things that I have to try to do just to play with somebody that I like is insane. If you
Yeah,
texted me right now and said, let's play Call of Duty, sweet, bro, let me go turn it on. I can't play Call of Duty. I have a 25 gigabyte update to
yeah,
download. So and I have my system set up to
yes,
download updates as they come.
yes.
It works with other games. Call of Duty, it just never does. Okay,
Not
that's my only
not
thing.
when
So
they're
I
doing it
can't.
by the 15
I
minutes.
oh god, dude.
It's
I know
horrible,
we have like a little group
horrible.
chat, and my brother will text me sometimes and be like, "Hey, just a heads up, you should probably get on Call of Duty and update it because there's a huge update out there." And I'll be like, "Oh, God, dude." So I'll just go update it and just be like, "Okay, I guess I'm ready for tomorrow because in 2 days there'll be another update."
Yeah, it's
Um,
horrible.
yeah,
Yeah, it's a
so
Call of
it's really
Duty.
bad.
Do better.
Yeah, and
Thank you.
I had to literally get that extended hard drive just so I could have Call of Duty on there. It's so freaking big.
We
Can
love
Call
the
of Duty
game.
even
Obviously,
fit?
we play it. We're not
Yeah.
knocking the game, but
Yeah.
I'm just like, jeez.
If you have Call of Duty on your PlayStation or your Xbox, you have one other game on there if you don't have an
Yeah,
external hard drive. One other game.
and that's why I had to
So
stop
big.
doing it.
Yeah.
I was like, this it doesn't work. I want
Yeah.
to play
So
FIFA
yeah, that's
too.
why I finally like well, right when I got my PlayStation 5, because this was a problem with PlayStation 4, I bought a external additional hard drive to put in my PlayStation 5 because I was like, if I'm gonna have Call of Duty of any version on here, that's gonna be 250, 300 gigabytes. Okay.
Oh,
That's enough of
it's
that. No one
no,
needs to hear
no.
me complain.
It's so much. It's just no, because you're like I'm also getting triggered during
Yeah.
your story.
Yeah, just because, like, yeah, if I just want to talk to you and play a game, it's like, oh, nope, I can't hear you. Okay,
No,
let's everybody shut down their Call of Duty and re come
yeah.
back in and let's see if it works. Oh, now it works all of a sudden.
An
Okay.
hour and a half later, we're
Yeah.
all on, and now
Yeah,
everybody's ready
seriously.
for bed because we
So
have
yeah,
work
now
in the
I have
morning.
instead of 45 minutes, I have 15 minutes to play. So let's try
Yeah.
to get something in. All right, what are we watching? Because this is something that we have time to fit in with our busy schedules. So first
Yes.
things, what are you watching, Mr. X?
Like I told you guys, I have another podcast, Mike Check Mania. So I watch a lot of wrestling. We just came off of WrestleMania, the Super Bowl of the WWE. So we just came off of that. But also outside of the wrestling world, I am watching Last of Us. Um, I just started season two. Are you
Yeah.
not? You're not doing it. You're not. What's going on there?
No, you finish and then I'll go.
Okay, and then oh yeah, John Cena's he heel now. Anyways, I also am watching The Fear of the Walking Dead. Now, most people are like, "Where have you been?" I just hadn't been there. There's a lot of seasons of all that, so I'm
Oh.
trying to get to the Daryl spinoff. I'm trying to get to the Michonne Rick spinoff. I'm trying to
Yeah.
get to the other spinoffs. So that's where I'm at, trying to fit those in when I can, when I'm not on a microphone every day of the week, almost it seems
Yeah.
like. So, uh,
Okay, so my thing about The Last of Us, why I gave that face, is love the game. I bought the first game right when it came out. Then I then bought the remaster of it. I bought the second one. I bought the collector's tin edition with all that, and I played it and I loved it. And it's the first Last of Us is one of the best games I've ever played, and one of my top, probably definitely top 10, might be top 5 games I've ever played. So I love it.
okay.
I love the world. I love the characters, all that stuff. I have not watched a second of the TV show because I don't want it to be bad, and I'm just afraid that it's going to be bad. People said, "No, it's great. It's this." Oh, I don't know. I don't trust so many of these things anymore. You look at like what Disney has done to Star Wars, and it breaks my heart. And you look at
Yeah.
like what some of these other things have turned into. I don't want The Last of Us to suck. I'm going to suck it up, and I will watch it at some point. Because everybody does keep saying that it's good. I'm just kind of pushing it off though, so that
So good.
if I don't like it for some reason, it's not that big of a deal because it's been around for forever and I'm kind of over it by now. It's the same thing. I still have not. Obi-Wan is my favorite Star Wars character, and I still have not watched the Obi-Wan TV show on Disney Plus because again,
Also,
I do not trust it. And if they ruin Obi-Wan Kenobi for me, I will hate Disney even more because they've already done
ah,
so many bad things with with Star Wars, but
hey,
Andor was good, and so I will dive into season 2 of that. Okay, what I am watching right now
yeah, 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 yeah.
is I am because Daredevil Born Again came out. I have not jumped into that yet because I was like, I'm gonna go back and rewatch all of the Marvel Netflix shows. So I did Daredevil season 1 and 2, Jessica Jones season 1, Iron Fist season 1, which Iron Fist season 1 better the second time around. I really did not like it the first time around. It was pretty
Really?
bad. Much better the second time around.
Okay.
Um, I've watched Luke Cage season 1 and watched The Defenders season 1.
I didn't
I
watch
am
the Defenders.
and Punish. Oh, The Defenders. It's pretty good. I was gonna be like, oh, it's good. It's pretty good. It's
It's
just
pretty
okay.
good.
Um, and I watched Punisher season 1, so I'm on Jessica Jones season 2. So I got
Okay.
JJ 2, Daredevil 3, Jessica Jones 3, Iron Fist 2, Luke Cage 2, and Punisher 2 to get through before I get to Born Again, but I'm gonna get there. So I'm
Yeah, yeah,
watching
yeah.
that, and then Lazarus, which is a anime show on Adult Swim and Max. It comes out on
Yeah.
Max, I think, the next day. So I think it hits. Adult Swim on Saturday nights, and then it comes out Sunday morning on Max.
Mhm.
So I've been watching that. I'm like 4 or 5 episodes into that, which is like a weird take on like a futuristic. Yeah, it's weird. It's cool. So yeah, if you're looking for
Is
new anime, Lazarus is good.
I'm spacing my man's name. We saw his panel animated,
Yeah,
deep
but
voice, black guy. Oh my goodness.
oh, yeah.
What sorry, I didn't say black guy.
Animated, deep voice,
Why am I
black
I'm
guy.
spacing his Goliath.
Oh my gosh. Why can't I think of this either? He was so cool. Keith
Oh
Davis.
my
Keith
gosh.
David.
Keith David, yeah. He's in that, right?
I don't think so. I haven't heard
Oh,
his voice. He has a very distinguishable voice, and if he does, he's changing it. I don't think he's in
oh,
that.
I thought he was in that for some reason.
No,
I
it's
don't
like
know.
a
Maybe.
it's basically like it's a different take on the future, how the world will end.
Mhm.
This all happens in the very first episode. So I'll tell it's like this guy creates a drug that heals everything and makes you feel no pain and does all this stuff, and then he basically was like, psych. I won't tell you anything else. So it's like
Yeah.
it's interesting though. It's pretty good.
Spoilers.
What's that?
I said spoilers. More spoilers.
Spoilers. No, that
No.
was all like in the first 5 minutes of the show.
Yeah.
Like if you needs a spoilers warning for the first 5 minutes of the first episodes of a TV show, that's probably going to be 24 episodes.
I know, right?
Come on, man.
You're in for
Come
a
on,
world of
man.
trouble. Hey, well, that is it's a pretty good first episode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
things will get smoother, things will
They're
get
gonna get
cleaner,
smoother.
things will get crisper as we go along. But don't forget your homework before we leave. I want everybody who listens to this to go ahead and list your Avengers team in the comments. Who do you think that Anthony Mackie's Captain America is going to put on his Avengers team?
Also, while you're at it, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and hit that like button for us. We appreciate
Yeah.
because we want to keep doing this for you and eventually get paid to do it. So, because it's
You know,
always
you know
about
how
the
I
money.
hate you
No, I'm
know
just
how I
kidding.
hate when we called this a podcast at the very beginning. I also hate that. Don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on those notifications so you know
Yeah.
when a new episode drops.
Why is that the perfect voice? And you had the whole just
I'm
everything.
really good at playing an idiot, and it must be because I'm an idiot.
Like and subscribe. That was good, man. That was really good. Hey, man, we appreciate you guys for tuning in. This is Nerd Kingdom's Checkpoint. Man, had so much fun with you guys today. We hope you had fun too. Make sure you do Matthew's homework because he'll get mad.
You
And we'll
wouldn't
see you
like me
guys
when I'm
next time.
angry.
You wouldn't like him when he's at. No, you'd love him. Cheers, guys. We'll see you next time.